I started supporting Preston North End way back in 1953 when, as a 9-year-old, my dad used to listen to the football results, and in those days it was out sports report on a Saturday night at 5 o'clock, just one opportunity to get the results. My brother and I had to sit quietly and listen, and the big name in football in those days was Tom Finney. And from then on I started following them, and I've followed them ever since. I was born on a farm in Llanwrtyd Wells in the old Breconshire, which has now become Powys. But my brother and I, as youngsters, used to listen to the football results with Dad and other sporting events that came on the radio that he used to listen to. We had, of course, to sit quietly, and as there's only one opportunity in those days to hear these commentaries, no replays or reruns. First of all, it was what my mum and dad used to call a wet battery radio. I remember them very well going to the local gasworks to collect a gas, an acid container, which they connected to the radio on the windowsill. And being so small, I couldn't see up, and we were not allowed to touch anything. I regret I don't remember anything at all about the radio, but that was the first recollection, was collecting this gas cylinder, this acid container, and sometimes Dad used to take it home on horseback, and my mum used to be very concerned that no spillage, because it would have burnt the skin of the pony, and they had to put a coat between the container and the horse's back to make sure there's no spillage at all. And we used to listen to sporting events. Mum and Dad used to listen to one or two Welsh. There was a soap opera on in those days, which was called Teulu Ty Coch. There was also, Dad wanted to listen to the rugby, international matches, particularly Wales, and that was about it. He was very interested in the Welsh teams and also Welsh players playing for English clubs. For example, John Charles playing for Leeds. There was a couple I can remember playing for Arsenal, Jack Kelsey in goal and Wally Barnes. Trevor Ford playing for Sunderland was a very well-known Welsh player of those days, as well as the boxing events. I remember getting up in the early hours of the morning to hear the fight Randolph Turpin against Sugar Ray Robinson, and it was a wonderful time. We were all Welsh, 100% Welsh, and parents, brothers, sisters, and everything was done in Welsh, apart from school, of course. Before we went to school, we couldn't speak Welsh, couldn't speak English at all. It was after learning English in school, and it's rather unique, perhaps, that one follows football, because a lot of the lads, although they were Manchester United followers in the 50s, it was to do with the Munich air disaster. Little things like that triggered them off. But they weren't really football fans, not English football fans, because the area was predominantly Welsh. My brother followed Wolverhampton Wanderers because of Billy Wright, who was then the England captain and ended up with a record number of caps, 100 and something. Tom Finney was the England star player, as far as I was concerned, for Preston North End. Both the clubs were in the First Division, and indeed in 1958 Wolves were champions and Preston were runners-up in Division 1.